Now more than ever, the quest by humans to make the world a better place to live by the application of in-depth scientific knowledge and the building of sophisticated technologies has risen to prominence. As such, science education remains a priority for many developed and developing countries. Now and then, huge investments are made by governments and other stakeholders into scientific research and education to advance the development of a scientifically literate citizenry. Despite these interventions to make science education successful and appreciable, many students perceive science as a complicated concept that has been engineered to rob students of their true happiness in life. Students with such perception of science may not possess the prerequisite levels of knowledge, general state of fascination and motivation for the discipline. More seriously, such students might lack one of the relevant triggers for learning science: curiosity. Science instructors, therefore, must use varied technologies for students to develop some strong affinity for the discipline, have fun while learning it, and heighten their curiosity about it. And this is no other entertainment choice than science fiction movies. Space Odyssey, Annihilation, Artificial Intelligence, Spider-Man, The Martian, the list goes on. These are exciting movies that made waves and are still relevant. The commonality among them is that they are all sci-fi movies. One may have heard but wondered, what are sci-fi movies? Sci-fi movies are film genres that use speculative fictional science-based descriptions of phenomena such as extraterrestrial life forms, alien worlds, extrasensory perception, time travel, along with futuristic elements such as spacecraft, robots, cyborgs, interstellar travel, and other technologies. George Méliès in 1902 released the first sci-fi movie titled Le Voyage dans la Lune, in which he demonstrated a spacecraft journey to the moon using tricky photography. Today, sci-fi movies have become a popular entertainment choice for students. Studies have shown that although very few sci-fi movies blur the gap between science and fiction, its positive impact on students' motivation to learn science cannot be underestimated. Some science tutors have even incorporated it into their teaching modules. Before I talk about how sci-fi movies have positively impacted the comprehensibility of science, I'll tell a personal story about how I got curious about science and hence was motivated to take up a science course. Growing up, I was a typical introvert who never enjoyed the company of others. On a hot sunny afternoon when all my brothers and playmates had gone out to play football, I would stay behind in solitude to entertain myself with sci-fi movies like Spider-Man, Breaking Bad, and other collections. My worried mother would complain incessantly about how I had deliberately chosen to be introverted, all in the name of watching some boring movies, she called it. A few days after my 11th birthday, my dad, who seemed cool about my newly found hobby, bought the latest sci-fi movie Spider-Man for me. When I first watched the movie, I was in JHS 2, and by mere coincidence, we were treating the genetics concept in class. During one of our early morning science classes, my science teacher called me to explain what I knew about gene mutation in organisms. Honestly, that question threw me a curve because I did not know how to convey my understanding of the concept. But then I remember the scene from Spider-Man about how the bite from the radioactive spider could cause Peter Parker to exhibit some features of it phenotypically. Consequently, I was able to link it to the topic of discussion, and I got more intrigued by how enlightening and thought-provoking sci-fi movies could be. All I remember Mr. Bento say after my answer was, that was creative. According to the renowned physicist Stephen Hawking, science fiction is useful for stimulating the imagination and diffusing fear of the future. The statement implies that to develop and nurture creative thinkers among students for the future of technology, we must make learning the discipline an exciting yet stimulatory one for them. Therefore, science fiction movies positively influence science education because it encourages curiosity among students, helps students identify science careers they are passionate about, enhances ethical consideration towards science and technology, and helps improve creativity among students. Foremost, sci-fi movies encourage curiosity in science, enabling the scientific concept to be understood. Most sci-fi movies have thought-provoking themes that captivate the attention of students who view them. Such films, when viewed, have some unique way of sparking some form of curiosity in students. You motivate yourself to investigate further how best you can practicalize some concepts exhibited in such movies. On one occasion, I tried out a chemical reaction I saw from one of the scenes in Breaking Bad by using some household chemicals and detergents in place of the original mercury fulminate and hydrofluoric acid, and I almost set the entire kitchen on fire. As much as it was almost disastrous, I got some inner satisfaction for curiously practicalizing a concept I had just seen, and as such, built my confidence in the discipline. Also, sci-fi movies promote positive attitude towards science and technology, thereby improving success in science. One phenomenal quality of sci-fi movies is the ability to portray how successful science has been in the past and how it will be in the future. They mainly emphasize technological advancement and how easy it is to make your significant impact in the world of science. These scenes usually motivate students to put up their best efforts as they can to break out of their comfort zone and pursue greatness in the world of science. Additionally, sci-fi movies visualize abstract topics, thereby improving creativity among students. Many sub-disciplines of science, such as physics and chemistry, have seemingly abstract principles that students need to memorize and recollect during problem solving. Therefore, most sci-fi movies achieve demystifying abstract scientific concepts to students who enjoy watching them by portraying certain instances in them where these phenomena were investigated or practically used to accomplish a particular mission. In this way, students can relate the abstract ideas they are taught in class to practical instances, although such movies may portray them as fictional. For example, Interstellar was a well-prepared sci-fi movie with an accurate portrayal of space travel and black holes, catching the attention of Dr. David Johnson to publish an academic article on why the film should be used to teach astronomical physics. Next up is a video of some scenes in the popular sci-fi movie Doctor Strange, in which the film illustrated the possibility of a multi-universe existing.
Doctor Strange. With all its magic and cross-dimensional traveling, one might wonder just how any real science got put into Doctor Strange. On the whole, Marvel movies have incorporated scientific reasoning behind a lot of their world building. Doctor Strange, however, added some straight-up mystical magic. Yet, astrophysicist Adam Frank stated that for all its magic, Strange's depiction of the multiverse could be scientifically sound, as there is the possibility of the universe splitting into other parallels every time a quantum event happens, and when an atom radioactively decays.
Movie shows how wild the thoughts of the producers was, and how we can be motivated to be imaginative. Some believe that sci-fi movies are basically a misrepresentation of scientific concepts and an exaggeration of reality, and hence are not intended to help the audience better understand science. This claim is a half-truth, as their influence in helping students better understand the discipline far exceed the disadvantages. For example, many ideas around space science and certain nuclear explosions are portrayed in sci-fi movies, ideas that cannot be physically illustrated to students for ethical reasons. Great scientists like Elon Musk, who are pursuing great exploitations like habitability of the planet Mars, got these inspirations from sci-fi movies. Come on, let's make great stuff out of the very few things we use to entertain ourselves. I recommend sci-fi movies not only to science students but also to any students interested in knowing more about science and the projected future of technology. You may never know what inspiration you would gain to contribute to your quota to attaining these aspirations by scientists. Thank you.